MLB The Show 25 has been releasing so many great cards as of late. And with the 4th inning program and the next iteration of the Weekend Classic, it is time to once again tier list rank every card, every position within Diamond Dynasty. Let me know down below in the comment section some of the most underrated cards you guys have used and had tons of success with this year. Some hidden gems that many people don't know about. Leave a like if you guys do enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go. Position by position, breaking them all down. First off, catchers, the backstop. Now, I think really hitting is the only metrics that really matter here. Again, defense. I've played enough. I know that there's not really much you can do about people running, stealing bases. If you've got Pete Crow Armstrong, you're going to steal that base. To be honest, what I've recognized, the biggest impact in the run game is your pitcher and how quick their delivery is to the plate. That's really the biggest thing that you can change, apart from having catcher pop time, which is a quirk that very few catchers actually have. The actual fielding rating, I don't care about. Blocking matters very little. Arm strength has some impact. Really, it is hitting I'm going to look at for catchers. Most catchers play the same defensively. That's just the honest to God truth. Hopefully they make catcher ratings matter a bit more. But S tier for me, it's close, and I'll bring down A tier. Some fantastic catchers. I think S tier's Carlos Santana. He's so good. The switch hitting swing, it is phenomenal. The pure contact and power balance he has on top of good clutch and vision with like 40-something speed is truly just unmatched with some of the other catchers that you're going to see. He is incredible. He is cheaper. He's like $250, $300. Stretching the definition of cheap, but he has gone down a bit in price. I still think he's the best catcher in the game. Kyle Schwarber is really great. Once again, I'm going to try and rank these at a sort of baseline for your average player, maybe average to a bit above average, meaning some of the attributes like plate vision that matter a little bit more in the higher difficulties, I am going to pay mine to. Schwarber has a little bit lower vision, but really the only knock against him is the defense. And again, if you use this Schwarber card, you don't notice it. He gives up just as many stolen bases as a Ted Simmons, a good defensive catcher on paper, but not really a meaningful difference. Schwarber's got so much power. He's got, once again, an incredible swing and a litany of quirks on top of him. That card is really good. He is expensive. You're noticing a trend here. A tier. I just put Posada down. I had him neck and neck with Santana. He was amongst those guys. I think those ratings have fell a little bit for him. His power against lefties is about 80, for example, and it's just not quite Santana. Like, this is A+ tier because they're so close. Even Mike Piazza, a free card in the multiplayer program. I really do like that card a bunch. He's hitting astronomically for me right now. I don't know if they changed his swing, but it feels like butter. He's helped me out a ton, hitting for a super high average, hitting some home runs as well. Really like the Piazza card, and he's Monty Grandal. He's my starting catcher right now. I don't have Santana. I don't have Schwarber. I love Yaz. The vision's a little bit lower, which you'll notice. The contact is not up to Carlos Santana standards, and he's got about 10 speed. He runs like he's got 2 cement blocks on his feet, and you notice it. Speed is an offensive stat. If you don't hit it over the wall, it's a single, and you're going to suffer the consequences of that super slow speed all the while he waddles his way around the base path. I think if you have any of those 5, you're doing really good at catcher. Beyond that point, you've got some of the other cards that came out recently. Bo Naylor, he's a pretty good catcher. He's got a good lefty swing. He's got some good offensive attributes, a little bit of speed on top of him as well. JT Realmuto, if there's one guy who you realistically could use right now with catcher pop time, it is him. He should be your best catcher in commanding the run game behind the dish. And he's a solid offensive bat. Like, he's got 90s contact, 80 power. If you love his swing, try out JT Realmuto. KB Ruiz, he's like an upgraded Ted Simmons, essentially, just, again, without the speed. He's like Ted Simmons with Yasmani Grandal speed. Mike Napoli. The clutch is low. Again, clutch, what does that do? Your clutch rating swaps your contact rating in times when runners are in scoring position. Normally, the contact decides your PCI size. It's clutch when there's runners on second to third, so on and so forth. And the same could be said for pitchers. Hit 9 moves over to pitch clutch. So 60 batting clutch, you don't notice it if there's nobody on base or if there's only a guy on first. But if he is coming up in those big moments, it is going to suck. Otherwise, really good offensive attributes. He's been out since the game's launch. He's still a pretty good card. And I'm not judging these based on any parallels. If you've got these guys parallel 5, great. It's going to make them a lot better than they would be stock out of the box. But I can't possibly factor that in. Otherwise, Sean Murphy, the moonshot card, pretty solid. Ted Simmons, you guys know how good he is. He's been probably your catcher at some point this year. Really fun card. And then Wilson Contreras at catcher secondary, going back to his position of old, is also very solid, high 80s, low 90s offensive attributes. So pretty good. Moving on down to C tier. You know, these guys maybe you could use. There's a lot of free cards. I mean, Naylor, Realmuto, K-Bear, those are all free cards. Piazza you could get for free in the multiplayer path or get for like $5K. Even Yaz is very affordable. He requires a few moonshot cards to be bought, but not bad. C tier, you know, maybe you're still using these guys at the start. Cal Raleigh's an interesting guy. He's a live series, of course. Obviously, we're not judging based off the supercharge, but contact is an important rating. And you'll notice that with his better card, technically on paper, 89 overall, he's got even less contact than his live series. That is a very important attribute, no matter what difficulty you're playing on. So, once again, I mean, like the new Dalton Rushing, not bad if you want to use him for fun, but obviously we realize there's better options. You've got the Jason Varitek, who, once again, I'm sure a lot of people had in their lineups at some point this year. You've got Samuel Basallo, Ballesteros for the Cubs, a couple decent guys. Will Smith, if he's got a really favorable inside edge, and that goes for most live series guys, give him a look. Shea Bangaliers, he's got pop and he's got catcher pop time as well. Then he got Austin Hedges and company in D. Moving over to first base. Now, the Immortal tier, nobody's particularly close. They're just not quite up to snuff. You've got Gil Hodges. Once again, he's the best of the best. He should be. You got to collect a 650,000 stub card, and that is one of that. That's not even halfway through getting Gil Hodges, because you still have, you know, your Acuna, your Tatis, you've got Soto and Lindor. A lot of stubs to get Hodges. He's very expensive, and he's very good. He should be. Not everybody loves a swing, but the stats on paper prove to be very good. S tier, Carlos Santana once again. Everything that makes him good at catcher makes him even better at first base, because he does have a little bit of fielding, a little bit better than average. Jamer Candelario is one of those moonshot cards. He's got very low fielding once again. I do care very little about defense at first base. I don't not look at it, but it is one of those positions where you certainly can let it slide. It's at the corners, I think, first and third base. With how this game works, most balls hit over there, they're hot shots. A lot of them are hard hit liners, and your fielders just don't have time to react to get there no matter who it is. Again, I've used your Christian Walkers, your first baseman with really good defensive ratings, and there's just not a huge difference even between a Jamer who's got like high 50s fielding at this secondary. So you're looking at the offensive stats. He's a switch hitter with tons of power, tons of contact both ways. He's on my team, one of my favorite cards in the game this year. He had the killer Easter card last year as well. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with the macaroni dreads flowing down from the helmet. This is rookie or Vladdy. This is out of position. Him playing at first base at the time. Card is really good. He honestly has close attributes to Gil Hodges. The fielding is minus quite a bit. The quirks are not quite, I think they are close, but Hodges has a couple more, and then power is the differentiator. Otherwise, Vlad is up to par in terms of contact. Vlad is really good. He's also very expensive at $300K. Moving to A tier, Delgado is technically a free card. If you play the Moonshot program, you do the Diamond Quest, you should have enough cards to get that Carlos Delgado for free. He's honestly really, really good. For a lot of people, again, the vision is a little bit lower. It's like 60s, but for most people, it's not going to be a huge difference. Again, vision, for people not aware, is what affects the outer cone of your PCI. If you've got low vision, you're going to swing and miss more often. I call it the bailout stat because it increases your timing window. High vision makes it easier to hit perfects. You can be a little bit earlier than someone with low vision and still get a perfect, if that makes sense. It is an important stat, but it really shows itself on the higher difficulties. You can survive with 60s on All-Star just fine, especially if you're playing offline. Delgado's exceptional. You've got Freddie Free, besides the vision, that's the one exception, and the fielding and the speed. The swing is awesome, though. Freddie Freeman, I love this card. I love his swing. He's always going to play. Now his live series is up to a 90 overall, and he plays up on inside edge every day. He's got all the important quirks. If he's up on inside edge, this could be like a 10K stub, 15K stub budget beast for you that's going to play towards the top of first base. Hank Greenberg, brand new boss. Might not be the sexiest name for younger people who weren't around in the 30s to watch him play, but he's a beast. He's got lots of power. He's got mid-90s contact. He's certainly a good card. Ryan O'Hearn. I had a 5-at-bat perfect streak running with him, using him. I love this card. He's one of those guys I think is going to really fly under the radar just because, once again, he wasn't like the lightning card within that program, let alone even the top batter in that program, but he's super good. You'll see him high in the outfield list as well, but even more so at first base, where you don't have to worry so much about the lower defense. Wilmer Flores, he can play a handful of positions. First base would be the best one. He's really slow. Once again, he's got like 10 speed. That is going to be tough to utilize if you don't hit the ball over the wall, but he does have a good bit of power to help you do that. B tier, you got the new Adam Dunn. He's good, lower contact against left, lower vision, and just not a great fielder in general. But man, he killed me so many years. Even the other day, playing Battle Royale, kind of stopped me in my tracks of getting a 10-0. That was the silver. This is the diamond. Anthony Santander still proves to be a really good card. Switch hitter, good both ways. Bryce Harper, pretty good stats out of the box. Get an inside edge buff. Great killer swing. Who needs the 94, am I right? Chase Headley, he's expensive, switch hitter, not great against lefties. Colt Keith, one of those really underrated cards for me, got a great left-handed swing. David Ortiz, Big Papi, you guys know how good he is. He's one of the most popular cards in MLB The Show 25, over 300,000 green parallels. Isaac Paredes, I've always liked his cards in DD. This one is also pretty damn good. Joey Gallo, him and Adam Dunn, very alike, although Gallo's even blinder than Dunn. That says something. If you ever watched Adam Dunn play back in the day, this Gallo card is going to play like he did in real life. He's going to hit for lots of power. The contact is actually pretty fair. It's just the vision. If you're lower difficulty, I think you might enjoy this Gallo, but 30 vision just will not play. Hall of Fame plus. That's just the fact of it. Josh Smith, underrated card. Cody Clemens, son of the Rocket, son of Roger. Two guys that might be snubbed from the Hall of Fame, unfortunately. Prince Fielder, always love his swing of the game. Pete Alonso, Reese Hoskins, a lot of big boppers. Willie Stargell, also a pretty underrated card. The new Lou Gehrig. The stats are not incredible, but he's got like 9 to 10 quirks and one of the best left-handed swings. Give him a shot if you've got him and are struggling to find somebody you like at 1B. Chris Bryant, still good. Tony Clark. Tony the Tiger, switch hitting first baseman. C tier, you got, some okay guys, some guys probably a little bit past the curve, or some that came out recently like Jim Thome. Again, I'm not going to rank platoon hitters that high. Unfortunately, a lot of the content this year seemed to be based around, this guy's really good against this one side. That's what you get with the power creep. Attributes can only be so high, and some of these guys, a lot of left-handers, that is their game. That's the nature of things. They're really good against righties, not so good against the southpaws, like Casas, who's got 60 contact against lefties, or Rafi Palmeiro, the same could be said. Running a platoon within your lineup is perfectly fine, but I can't plan for that being your purpose, and we're looking at overall value here. So first base, once again, I think there's lots of good players that you can get for free, that you can get fairly affordably, looking at the bottom tier there, once again, but the best of the best, you're going to have to pay for them. Second base is a little bit different. I think this is a lot more equitable of a position because we haven't had that one guy really come out as the top guy. I think there's 4 I'd put on S tier. The brand new Brian Dozier, the brand new isn't like 2 weeks old. He's good defensive, second base, and shortstop. Those in the infield are the 2 positions I really care about defense because you're deep in the hole. You've got chances to go make that super dive. I'm going to value high if you're tall like an Ellie De La Cruz and you've got a strong arm to throw somebody out. So many times, if you play with that Ellie, you know what I'm talking about. He saves games for you with hitting the R2 button. And just having good reactions is make or break within some of these games, especially once you get on lower difficulties where lots of balls are being put into play. It's a little different on the very higher difficulties where you might see a dozen plus strikeouts in any given day because it's harder to hit on legend GOAT difficulty. Lower difficulty fielding really matters. Otherwise, balls are going to keep falling through the gaps and you're going to get frustrated. What do they say? A bloop and a what? A bloop and a blast. And that is what kills you. Dozier's got really good defense. Brian Roberts does not. Caminero does not. But again, it's sort of a balance of things. It's a 93. You can only get so high. Dozier, I like. He's got good power, still pretty good contact. Brian Roberts, he's probably the most common second baseman I see at like 800, 900 level. He's good. Switch hitter, hits both sides well. This card's got some pop too. Not the best defensively, like I said, but it is what it is. Caminero is even worse defensively, but he's even better offensively. I loved the Jolt card. I got a chance to pick this one up. He's killer. No filler. He's got like 20 discipline. So all those attributes are going towards the meat, the contact, the power, the stuff that really matters, the clutch. Ketel Marte. A lot of these live series, again, do come off the fact they really need an inside edge buff to get them to the top of their abilities. He's got good quirks, got a good swing. He's still one of the best second basemen. A tier. There's a lot of guys I'd put here. To name a few, Colt Keith once again. Who else do we have returning here? I think that's the only returning guy. Alex Bregman, pretty good. I see a lot of people still running him. Jackie Robinson can play almost every position. He's got 100 contact. Jorge Polanco, he's a lot cheaper than he was. He's like 90s everything hitting, switch hitter, just, again, not really the defense, but another guy that just crushes against me and is really annoying to face. He just has my number. Larry Doby, this card could play infield, and that gives him a lot of value. Instead of just having a slower outfielder, this guy playing at second and shortstop is really good. Luis Renifo, switch hitter, pretty good all the way around. Mookie Betts with inside edge is pretty great. Got a good right-handed swing. Ozzie Albies might have one of my favorite swings of the game this year. He has come through time and time again. Even as an 89, he's been out for some time. He still is getting starts for me. He got starts in the Weekend Classic just a few days ago in Weekend Classic 3 for me. Ryan McMahon, love this card. So many lefty-lefty bombs hit with him, even on legend difficulty. That vision, I don't know, it's just not a problem with him. I love his swing. Yomo Okada in the pipeline past, great card, switch hitter. Kind of a lot like that Polanco once again, just a little bit better defensively. Then Whit Merrifield, a jack of all trades, and a master at hitting contact versus lefties. He's got maxed out, and he's a Swiss Army knife. He can play just about anywhere for you. You've got the new Anthony Rendon. Despite the fact he might not ever play in real life, this card plays. 100 plus contact both ways, mid-70s power. He's pretty decent. Brandon Lau, another guy. Battle Royale Demon. This card's got offensive stats enough to play on those ranked seasons teams. He's pretty damn good. Midroth, pretty underrated for an 86. If I haven't mentioned this before, these are in no order on these actual tiers. The Show Zone client shuffles them. So I'm not saying Bregman is better than Moncada. I'm not saying that Dozier's the best. They're all within their own tier. I'll try and pin some out that are particularly better. Like this Chris Taylor, who's actually pretty underrated from the headliners. He's got good offensive attributes. He's got good fielding. Once again, a utility guy. That is pretty great if you want to play him at second base. Chase Utley, he was a chase card. No pun intended right there. But he's good. He's got a good swing, good contact, good speed, good fielding, pretty good power. What more could you want? Ernie Clement, that's a card I kind of want to highlight here. 90 overall, kind of a beast for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's a little bit more of a platoon guy. He's 80, 55 against righties, but max contact left, 96 power against lefties with diamond shield defense, 100 plus clutch, and 70 plus speed. That is pretty good. He was in the most recent PUTM program. You have him, probably. If you have James Wood, you've got Ernie Clement. Give him a shot. We talked about Isaac Paredes. The Crone Zone, him and Kipnis. If you like Kipnis, you'll probably like Cronenworth. Very similar cards. Jazz is still there, pretty solid. You'll see him at a few positions. Christian Campbell, a lot of people loved him at the beginning of the game because he was very well-rounded, well-versed in all things hitting. Cody Clemens, once again, Leodalis DeVries, switch hitter. I know people who still run this card. Came out day one, 87 overall. He just crushes for him, and I love to see when people do that. Luis Arraez, not as good as he was at first base because his fielding stinks. But Marcus Semien, not a bad card. Very balanced, great Diamond Shield defense at second base. You got the Rhino from last week in Classic, pretty solid. Xavier Edwards, not much power, but super high contact. Again, you run into the issue of hitting more perfect lineouts that way, but high contact can also warrant in lots of hits. It just gives you a more varied gameplay experience, and it's not going to elicit as often of great results as hitting it over the wall with some power. You know, hitting home runs is good. You can't catch a perfect line drive if it's over the wall. Move on down to C tier. There's some other guys that are not bad, but once again, have kind of reached their expiration date at this point or just came out a little bit too late. In the case of DJ LeMahieu, Miguel Vargas, not a great card. He's like 70s against righties, so he's a platoon. He's got 60 fielding. I don't want to hate on him. You know, the White Sox get enough hate as it is, but yeah, there we go. That's the end of D tier. Some guys maybe run for theme teams or something, but we're hoping to stick towards the top. Once again, Brian Roberts, Brian Dozier, you can get both of those for free. Let's talk third base, where I thought I was going to have Scott Rowland be in a league of his own. After seeing so many people, I've seen top players bench him because they just don't love him. I myself, I've got Scott Rowland. He hits okay for me, but I hit better with guys like Jose Ramirez. And when I've had chances to use it with a Castro, I just hit better. And again, I don't notice the defensive impact nearly as much as you should for a Gold Glove 99, 90-plus fielding Scott Rowland. Is he better defensively than all the guys listed here? Yes, he is, but not by that much. Not enough to warrant me not loving his swing and just performing better with guys that might even have lower attributes. Like Corey Seager that came out here, one of my favorite swings within the entirety of MLB The Show history. You guys remember the World Series card? Well, it could be two of the World Series cards, either from 2020 or from 2023 with the Rangers. He's got some really good stuff, and this card is also very good. Jose Ramirez, he's my favorite card I've had a chance to use this year, not including Carlos Beltran. I mean, within reality, non-99s, Jose Ramirez is my favorite. He's up to a 91 at this point. Switch hitter, good against both sides, good enough fielding, 70-plus speed, most quirks, great swing, lower stature, so he doesn't have a huge strike zone. That can make it tough to bat. You know, using a guy like James Wood, who we'll talk about, tall drink of water at 6'7", it's jarring to have such a large strike zone and see things that, oh yeah, that's easily going to go over the zone, and then it falls in for a strike. It can be a little bit tough. You get used to it, but it takes time. Vlad, once again, Willie Castro. That Willie Castro is just incredible. Once again, premier stat stuffing by STS, making him really good contact, good speed, mid-80s power, great swing, switch hitter, one of the best cards, probably to where he got put out in the show history, I would say. Yeah, he's going to rank pretty highly on shortstops as well. Just a little sneak peek. Everybody here at A tier we've already talked about. Jamer, Jr., Ryan, and Yon. All of them really good at A tier. Once again, not great fielding from Jamer and Jr., but outstanding hitting. That is just really hard to top at this point. Because part of the issue, too, is we're just not quite there where you can have that free will choice of having great hitting and great fielding. And you'll see that a little bit in the outfield as well, where I also really value defense. But keep on going here. We'll get there when we get there. B tier, we've got that Ernie, Bregman, Rendon guys we've talked about. New couple faces, Gino Suarez. I really like his swing for a righty. Big fan of that card. He's got high power, mid-80s contact, which can be a little bit tough. The vision's not too high either. Austin Riley for one of those Color Storm cards. That's what they were called. He's good. I've always loved Austin Riley's cards. MLB 22, you guys might remember his Lightning Series card that was phenomenal. Javi Baez. Of course, he can play center field. He could also play third base on this card. I like his swing quite a bit. This Justin Turner, I'm really sad that he did not get much use. He's like 20,000 parallels, which is kind of the barometer of how much do people give a shit about this card, and not much. Apparently, he's really good. I love Justin Turner's swing. I don't think he's got all the quirks that he should have based off when this card would have been for the Dodgers, but he's got some pretty damn good offensive attributes. If you're struggling to find somebody, if you just started, maybe try and look at Justin Turner. You can get the Evo card from the new XP path on the Rewind. Do the program. It takes like 20, 30 minutes. Try out Justin Turner. You've got Royce Lewis, Mark Vientos, two more Color Storm faces, the X-Man, Xander Bogaerts. Good power on this card, which is not normal for him. Rafi Devers. Card is just getting a little bit outplaced at this point. There's lots of good offensive third basemen and lots of good bad defensive third basemen as well. There's a reason why the Red Sox put him at DH. But we'll see if he ever moves to first base. C tier, we've got some guys, again, like Beltre. His whole claim is the defense on this card, and it just doesn't shine that much. He was the one guy, because I got him out of the XP path, out of the boss pack early on, and I just noticed so many times where he was not making this play, which you'd hope that someone with that high of ratings would. And I just didn't notice a measurable difference between him and like a Matt Shaw, who I might have used at third base a little bit, or even like a Jose Batista. Is he better? Yes. By that much? No. Chipper Jones, excellent against lefties. I see a lot of people using this card at this point because he's so cheap. He's got a fantastic swing. Sometimes the swing just plays above the attributes, so you might want him even a little bit higher B tier. You might still want to use Chipper Jones as your main guy because he's got such a good swing, still got good quirks too. Ellie, this is not the highest we're going to rank him. Third base is a secondary. Again, I don't value 3B defense quite as much as shortstop, but I am a big fan of that Ellie. You saw at the beginning part of the video, legend difficulty in the Weekend Classic, him hitting a walk-off home run for me. Yes, the vision and the contact is a little bit tough to play sometimes, but one of my favorite swings, my Road to the Show player swing in this year's game. So that says a lot about how much I love that card. Otherwise, once again, you got another crop of guys you've probably seen at this rate. Josh Gibson, I really wish they made him better. Oh, I was so excited when he got put in the game last year, but his card just low 70s contact. He's got pretty good power, but I don't know, especially at a secondary, just not enamored with him. D tier, Got some guys, some 85, some 86s. Let's take a look at shortstop, where we've seen Seager, we've seen Willie Castro. Castro had the alone spot at the top of shortstop for some time. One of the thinnest positions, there was no secret. And now we've gotten Seager, and now we've also gotten Derek Jeter and Jacob Wilson. The Derek Jeter is really good. He's got a righty swing that I adore. Since he got put in MLB 23, I really fell in love with Derek Jeter cards. Now, this one does not have the artificial, inflated, sugar-coated fielding that some people might want and wish for him to have. It's only at 71 and 73 reaction, but the contact is top class, 120, 108. He's got low 80s power, pretty much maxed out clutch, all the important quirks, 70 speed. Jeter is so good, especially for free. I think there's no going wrong here picking him first in your boss pack. Jacob Wilson is a lot like the Jeter in the way that he's got, well, Jacob Wilson's got a little bit less power. He's got the same fielding, really. I mean, he's got a little bit more contact. I suppose we'll look at him right here. The clutch, very, very similar cards all the way around. Jeter is free, and he's also got way more quirks than Jacob Wilson, but certainly still a very fun card that I've been enjoying so far since I got a chance to pick him up. Those are the best of the best, and happy to say that there's a free one this time around at the S tier. A tier, we've got some fun. I can't have Bo Bichette, I can't have Junior Caminero up in S tier here just because there's too good of competition, even though Junior was in S tier for second base. Shortstop is the most important position for me defensively, and that is why you see guys like Bobby Witt Jr. and Ellie de la Cruz. I hit to like a 900 OPS with Bobby Witt Jr., which is okay, but it's the intangibles. It's the defense. He just feels like none other. He's, I believe, maxed out defensively within the game, and he's got the speed, which really helps him out offensively as well. Bobby Witt Jr. has been a lot of fun for me, even still, with some better cards coming out. And Ellie de la Cruz, like I said, I love that card. I love his swing. Very popular card. He can still play on the higher difficulties. He's not just a conquest player. I really do like that Ellie. Bo Bichette, really fun right-handed swing. Really great. Some of the best attributes you'll find at the position. It's just the fielding is awful. And I cannot roster that personally at shortstop. He's got 65 fielding, 65 reaction. This is a good time to mention with secondaries or out of position rather. You could choose to play, Bo Bichette's not like the greatest candidate to talk about here, but you could play a shortstop at second base and vice versa. But primarily shortstops going to second base, even if it is not listed, they should be able to play there for you at no problem. We'll talk about that a lot in the outfield, but that is one positional swap. You don't really lose too many attributes when you do that, and talk about out of position. Don't play guys at first base. Don't play guys at catcher. Otherwise, you're just looking at whatever fielding and reaction they wind up at. You'll get the same animations just based off what is tied to his actual fielding after you take account the secondary or the out of position hit. So Bo Bichette is definitely a fun card, just again, not too fundamentally sound defensively. But if you're like GOAT difficulty, if you're getting lots of strikeouts, if you're striking out 15, 16 guys a game, it's a little bit different. You don't have that many balls coming into play, and it's not as big of a deal. But for the average person, it's tough to get lots of strikeouts on All-Star because it's easier to hit. You might run into, your switch player playing on the handheld, coming back from soccer practice. Every now and then, strike out 20 times on All-Star, but that is not the norm. Ketel Marte is here once again. You've got the live versions of Corey and Ellie. The swing's going to play the same, especially up on an inside edge. Their attributes are not bad. Chris Taylor, once again, talk about him. Honus Wagner, kind of like the Jackie Robinson, both those cards got some positional versatility, high contact, high speed, low power. You kind of know what to expect from those guys. J.P. Crawford, super underrated. He's in the mini seasons. He was in that Moonshot mini season run, and he's actually got really good offensive attributes. Not really defensively, but that's kind of what you expect from a moonshot card. Really good offense, though. The Trevor Story, who was one of the bosses recently, just not great against righties. Pretty good defensively, pretty good speed, got a decent swing. I know people like Trevor Story. Certainly a usable card for sure. You've got Trey Turner. The swing is just lovely. Ozzie Smith. Hate on the idea if you want. That card is actually pretty fun for me when I had a chance to use him. C tier, once again, you've got a lot of the same faces. A lot of these guys have been in many of these other positions, if not all of them in some cases. You could certainly use them if you want, but obviously with the understanding that you are using a bit of a lesser, not as good card as some of the guys on top. Of course, you're always going to have those players that you weirdly rake with, just no matter what the attributes are, whether it's the swing, whether it's just something about them. You hit really well. Let's move on to the outfield, and we're just going to do one tier list for here because, yes, there's 3 positions, but again, talk about secondaries. We've had this conversation before. Do not be frustrated just because, oh, well, this center fielder has no secondaries. You know, what am I going to do? We'll talk about the new Grady Sizemore, for example, that came out the other day. He is a center fielder with no secondary, 78 fielding, 76 reaction. If you move him to left field, well, he loses 4 fielding and 4 reaction, which is the exact same hit as if you put someone in their secondary. So there's no worry. Any center fielder, regardless of if they have a corner secondary, they can play them. But the same cannot be said about corner outfielders going to center field. You might say, wow, Tim Raines is max speed. He's got 85 field. He looks good. Yeah, okay, play him at center field. No, you may not. Or I certainly would not recommend it. So with that being said, let's start the lengthy process of looking at outfielders. The immortal tier is very clear. It is Carlos Beltran. He's the best card in the game still by far. It's not particularly close. He is just perfect. A lot of people who have him probably have him up to parallel 5 or, beginning that journey at this point. He's so good at everything. He's the best card of the game. He's in his own tier. He's playing his own game. S tier, a little bit below, or a lot of bit below Beltran. Bryce Harper, Byron Buxton, Corbin Carroll, James Wood, Ken Griffey Jr. The Harper, I love so far. I've had a lot of fun with him. One of my favorite swings, once again, I feel like I say that a lot, mainly against lefties. One of my favorite swings in MLB The Show history. Every live series card has played really well for me and way above attributes. He's got really good offensive attributes, that being said. Not so good defensively, but a couple parallels is going to help alleviate that. Play him in right field. He's got not quite the Harper arm. Had an opportunity to throw somebody out, and he couldn't do it because he comes with like 81 arm out of the box. Nationals Harper had a little bit more of a rocket than that, but you get great offensive attributes here, of course. Byron Buxton, I really love that card. Not just because he's a twin. I was honestly a little unsure of whether or not it was worth getting him because, are the stats that good? I've loved him. I mean, Buxton has played so well. I've heard a lot of that sentiment around the community that a lot of people have loved that card also. So he's towards the top. He's a center fielder primary. If you've got Beltran, I'd probably have Buxton saying center because he doesn't need... Beltran can afford to lose the defense, and Buxton can't because he doesn't have as much as Beltran. Corbin Carroll, really good card. Still, of course, the prior Lightning card. I'm a big fan. I used him for a long time. I really did enjoy him. Pretty much every game I play, I see Corbin Carroll in the other person's lineup because he's that good. A swing that really plays, super fast, of course, pretty good defense, and just a good hitter. He's got good contact all the way around, great power versus righties. James Wood was not the Lightning card, but he almost might have been. He's really great. He is 6'7", and like I said, that can be a little tough sometimes to utilize someone who is that tall, but if you can get used to it, you're going to be just fine. I haven't used that card a ton quite yet. The fielding is pretty piss poor, But again, you're looking for the offense at this point because you just don't have that many superstars all the way around. He's good enough, and you'll take that. Ken Griffey Jr. still is getting at-bats on my team. He's my leadoff hitter. He's my table setter. He's better lefty-lefty. I've really enjoyed hitting lefty-lefty this year, actually. I would rather see lefty-lefty than righty-righty, and Griffey has hit so many of those home runs for me in the big moments. He is always going to have a seat at the table for me. A tier. Now, I put a guy like Judge up here. I still do not recommend that you would really use him defensively, but it also depends what ballpark you play at. I can stress that enough so much. If you play at a deep ballpark, you are really going to pay the consequences. This is parallel 4 out of the box. He's sitting at 63 fielding, 44 reaction, and 46 speed. That is dog shit. That is really bad defensively. And I've played a lot hitting balls into the corners, and my opponents have really gotten frustrated because Judge just cannot make those plays. And that is something you're going to have to balance yourselves. Obviously, you saw how good offensively he is. That's a you choice. That's a what ballpark do you play at choice. I don't get to make that decision. He's really great offensively, but he sucks defensively, and that's unfortunate. I think they were a little too harsh on the defensive ratings for him. Bernie Williams, I really did like that card. He did not receive as much fanfare as I thought he should have because he's a switch hitter who's got pretty decent speed, decent fielding, and again, you can play him at the corners, center field primary, no secondaries, but you can play him at the corners just fine. I really like that card quite a bit. Brian Reynolds, chase card from earlier on, he still gets play. Good offensive attributes, great swing, is going to carry you. Cedric Mullins, another great lefty swing. He's pretty good, not great. I was honestly a little underwhelmed at that card. Eric Davis, brand new. I think that card is basically as good as Byron Buxton, and you can get him from the Evolution program. You can't afford the 200-some thousand for this Buxton. Get Eric Davis and get 95% of the production. George Springer, he was in the World Series pack. Another archetype very similar, where they've got good contact and power, a little bit lower vision, pretty good speed, pretty good defense. Also a great option at right field. Grady Sizemore, he's pretty good. He's more balanced this time around. Better against righties, holds his own against lefties. More defense that you're going to see from a lot of guys here. Jason Dominguez, switch hitter. A lot of people have been using him. Really great against right-handers. And yeah, still pretty good against lefties. And you're always going to have that handedness advantage because he is a switch hitter. Javi Baez, we talked about him. Big fan of that card. Ryan O'Hearn. Otherwise, a lot of new out. Talked about Schwarber. Jim Rice, he just dropped in BR. They didn't even mention that they were putting out new flawless. He's actually pretty good. He's very well-rounded. I know a lot of people do not like his swing from years past, but give him a shot when he comes out in the pack in the multiplayer path 2 months from now, and then he's just outdated. I have a lot of discretions about what they've done to the Battle Royale mode. Joe Adell, again, much like Eric Davis and Byron Buxton and George Springer, that same sort of archetype. Ohtani, really good, still offensively. You don't get much defense. He is quick, but the fielding and reaction matters. You cannot outrun a bad jump, and that really is going to rear its ugly head, but you do have his bat. Juan Soto lost a couple attribute points, still really good offensively, not so good defensively. Mets fans, Yankee fans, National fans, Padre fans, insane he's played for 4 teams. I probably don't have to tell you that. Schwarber, great, obviously. Tim Raines, really liked that card. He was on my team for a while. You saw the parallel 5. Big fan. Not a lot of power, but he still hit some home runs for me. Pete Crow, you're going to see him a lot still. He's got maxed out defense. That really means a lot defensively, especially if you want to play at a bigger park. He can make those plays where other guys cannot. You can catch your opponent off guard by having really great defenders and them not so great defenders in a larger ballpark. That's something to consider. He's not great offensively. I know lots of people have to just drop down bunts with him constantly. The defense, the base running, If you can get on base with him at all, a single turns into a double, maybe even a triple. It is so easy to steal bases this year. The chase card, Acuna, pretty good, lovely swing from Ronald. Expensive, but pretty damn good card. O'Hearn, love him. TJ Fritos, one of those underrated cards. They put out a lot of good stuff within the May Player of the Month pack and collection and program too. The Tony Gwynn from many seasons, underrated. I do like that card. Tony Gwynn with power, I'm a fan. B tier. You got Adam Dunn, talked about him, not so much of a defender. Brent Rooker, also not great defensively. You're going to start seeing that a little bit more as I stuff some of those guys down. Yordan Alvarez, Ralph Kiner, Willie Stargell, all outstanding. Offensively, just nothing Burger defensively. Liabilities, you're going to give up hits because of them. You're going to have single stretcher to doubles, sometimes even triples if it's in a case of a Pete Crow Armstrong. And again, that's why I cannot afford to have such bad defenders in my outfield, but that's my choice. Christian Yelich got a really good swing. A lot of people love him. Mike Stanton or Giancarlo Stanton, depends on what year we're talking. Not great vision, but lower difficulties. He might play really well for you. Jared Kelenic, very balanced all the way around. Good lefty swing. Jock Peterson, probably more of a DH. We love Big Cock Jock in this house. Really great stuff for me on my team when I've DH'd him. I wouldn't know how good he is defensively because I'm not willing to try it. I'm not that bold. Jung-Hoo Lee's got a great swing for a lefty. Ketel Marte also can play the outfield. Masataka Yoshida, really fun swing, really fun card. Nothing defensively. Don't do it. Don't try it. Would not recommend it. I was bold enough to try that and never again. You see lots of guys try to talk about every card, but there's just so many. C tier, you start to see some other faces. A little bit lower overall, maybe have been around for a while at this point. Still decent cards here. Like Manny Ramirez, I love that card even still. But obviously there is some better options you could be going with at this point. Into C tier, into D tier as well. These are more value bin options. These are theme team fodder. Guys that serve their purpose, and we love them for it. But let's make our way towards the top, towards these guys. Carroll is a free one, same as James Wood and Griffey, which is good to say. There's some good free stuff. Bernie as well. Eric Davis, Joe Adell. If you do the pipeline program and you do the showdown, you can get him for free. The best of the best, Beltran is way unobtainable for most people, but there is some good outfielders that you can get reasonably, for sure. Let's move into my favorite controversial topic, and that is the starting pitchers. Now, S tier, I always like to whittle it down to 5. What would be the ideal 5-man rotation? If you had every card of the game, in my opinion, it would be Roger Clemens, it'd be John Donaldson, and from there, I don't know how to rank Nate Pearson, Randy Johnson, and Tarik Skubal. Now, this is a little bit skewed, but I do think it is just a show of what is good in the game. These pitchers are all featuring outlier, including Tarik Skubal. Now, with this card, the lightning they give him is just deserved. If he's throwing 103, 100 pitches deep in a 9-inning shutout, damn right he deserves outlier. It's about time. I really liked Tarik when I used him in the Weekend Classic. He pitched very well for me. So did Nate Pearson. He's got a 20-25 mile an hour differential between his outlier fastball and his circle changeup, which is ridiculous. And especially in high difficulties, you're going to have a tough time with that. He's got some pretty good per nines, as does Tarik Skubal. And Tarik's got a primary changeup, again, that affects his controllability on that pitch, improving it from what it was on the longer series, which is a very big thing. Roger Clemens, I shouldn't have to say anything here. He's the best pitcher, in my opinion, that has ever existed within MLB The Show. He's better than MLB 23, Randy Johnson. He's better than the John Donaldson, better than Edward Cabrera, better than Kluber, better than Kershaw. This Clemens, especially considering he's a 99 when we started like at 87 in the power creep, he decimates everybody. He is so good. He's as close as you can possibly get to a guaranteed free win. If you want to claim this game as pay to win, Point at Roger Clemens, and you might have an argument. Randy Johnson, really good. He's always been great in the game. He just does not quite have the attributes of a Clemens. And, you know, these guys are a little wild, like Randy and John Donaldson for sure. They've got some bigger pars, perfect accuracy regions. You can have a perfect pitch and still have it go anywhere within that reticle. But their stuff is so good. John Donaldson, he's my second favorite pitcher. He's free, which is cool. Donaldson, Tarik are free. Nate Pearson's like 25, 30K. I would very much recommend him. A tier. You've got some lower overall guys here, like Al Leiter. I still pitch well with him, even now with an 86, facing like 92s, 93s, far superior attribute-wise. But his mix, his velocity, his per nines are still good on the hit and K, that they get the job done, especially with some parallels. I had some trouble with him in the Weekend Classic. It was legend difficulty. But he's very good. He's always been one of those great pitchers that plays way above ratings. Andy Pettitte, I've gushed about him a lot. You guys probably are sick of it. Not many people use that card. Not that many people understand the gospel that is that Andy Pettitte. He's been so good, so clutch for me. If I need a big start, and I can't pitch Clemens, of course, or John Donaldson. A lot of times it's Andy Pettitte that I turn to even still. Dustin May, one of our favorite gingers right here. He's hard throwing. He's got nasty stuff. He's tough to control. But if you don't know where it's going, neither does your opponent, and they'll just swing and miss. Fernando Valenzuela. I know lots of people love him. He does not quite have the attributes I guess that I need. He's lost a couple Weekend Classic games for me. He's got big pars. You are going based off the screwball and changeup primarily, and those can miss their spots if they get hung down the middle. You don't have to do too much work as a hitter. Just leave your PCI where it is and watch that thing fly. Chris Bubich, I am a fan. He's got a great pitch mix. 88 plays above those ratings. Nolan Ryan, 94, brand new. 4-pitch mix. He's got the outlier. He's not going to hit the broadside of a barn, but that fastball goes a long way. Couple out with the sinker, the changeup, and the curveball with good pitch speed differentials and great hit per nine. Nolan Ryan is special. Pedro Martinez, he's got bigger pars. He's towards the end of A tier. I was thinking B tier. I have kind of liked him since I've gotten him, but he's not as good as I think a Pedro Martinez card should be for being one of the greatest pitchers of all time. I don't know if maybe they gave him sinker cutter combo. That would change the story a little bit, but so be it. Ohtani is still good. He's very wild. Ohtani's got great stuff. He is very difficult to control, but thanks to this game having no idea how to program two-way players, the most popular player in baseball, former cover athlete, they don't know how to code their game. He hasn't pitched in over a year. It's been almost 2 years since he's pitched. Yet he's up on inside edge pitching every single day. So you're always going to have an advantage with the hit and K per 9 buffs. B tier, we've got some guys definitely pretty solid, definitely good pitchers. I just would not recommend them quite as much. You start to look at like Dustin May was free. Nolan Ryan is free. If you get to World Series, Pedro Martinez. We talked about John Donaldson, Tarik, and Nate Pearson. These still, if you guys are loving these pitchers, don't stop using them. Who cares what I think? If you guys play well, keep using those cards. B tier, there's the new Garrett Cole, who's pretty solid. Jack Leiter, I see he gets a good bit of use. Corey Kluber, who is a Weekend Classic card, he's super cheap. Cliff Lee doesn't quite have the attributes you would like to really see him excel. Corbin Burns, honestly, still pretty good. A lot of people just love the sinker cutter combo with Corbin Burns, and it still plays. I face him every now and then. Sometimes have a little bit of trouble, but the attributes are starting to get outclassed. Johnny Cueto, pretty good in the free program. Logan Webb, he still gets starts for me, even now, having a lot of the cards. I'm a big fan of his. Michael Wacha, Nick Lodolo, Jared Jones, some of those Color Storm cards. a lot of pretty damn good ones that you can find within Team Affinity. You've got Jake DeGrom from the Egg Hunt Collection, not bad at all. Matt Cain from the prior XP Path. Noah Schultz, if he gets a better card at some point, holy shit, is he going to wreak havoc? Had so much fun using him early on in the year, and still every now and then I'll just pull him for a quick start. And he still pitches well, even being an 87 overall. So that's pretty cool. C tier, probably could find a little bit better options at this point. For the most part, it's either their mix is not great, they don't have one of those big pitches like a sinker or a cutter, which to be very effective online, it's not a requirement, but it really helps to have those. Or they don't have the per nines. They don't have the attributes quite like some of the other guys do. There's a lot of faces there, too many to mention. I tried to get basically every single diamond player on these tier lists. And then D tier, sort of the same thing. They're missing something. They just don't have quite what it takes to be as good as they should be, given that these are professional pitchers. They don't always play like it on the Diamond Dynasty. The bullpen, we'll start with the right-handers. They put out a ton of relievers, at least right-handers, since we had our last tier list. Darren O'Day is still there at S tier, but he's joined this time by Devin Williams and Felix Bautista. D. Will, the airbender. He's got the Skubal primary. He's got basically maxed out hit K and pitch clutch, which is ridiculous. Not many pitchers can say that right now. The BB9 is lower, but he's got nasty stuff. He's got a good motion. Lots of people were still using his live series card at this point, and now they've got, well, a far better option to use. This card's got a cutter that goes a good 6 miles an hour different than the four-seamer. He's great. Really like that card. Felix Bautista, he's in the chase pack. You always notice how tough Mandingo, standing there 6'7", is to hit. And now he adds the sinker with that card with top class per nines. He is really tough. One of my most kryptonite-esque pitchers that I just dread whenever I see them come on the mound. Bautista is so damn tough. A tier, we got Andres Munoz, who is in the POTM program, still or POTM pack rather. He's too good to be in a program. Very good pitcher that you see a good bit online. Ben Joyce within the Team Affinity. Super hard throwing, 104 on the four-seamer. He's got the sinker as well. I believe double outlier. Dennis Eckersley, great slider. He can put that on a dime. He's like Darren O'Day light, I would consider, even though he's a higher overall. I still do think Darren O'Day's better, just with the sheer control that he's got. Really great per nines once again, and the funky mechanics. Darren O'Day always is a tough guy to hit off of. Eric Gagne, I don't love this card quite as much as I wanted to, and I know that, and I don't feel so bad because I have more success against this card than I normally do against Gagne. Because he's also one of those hell match pitchers, nightmare fuel pitchers that I really do not want to see my opponent bring out of the arm barn. But swapping I don't know if it's swapping the slurve instead of the 12-6 hurt something. I don't know what it is. He's not as accurate. He's not as formidable as he used to be. Still very good, though, in A tier. As one of those free guys that was in the bottom pack. Raleigh Fingers. Fingers of the competition on the daily for me. Really still like him. 85 overall. He was in Team Affinity 1, and he does the damn job each and every time. Ryan Helsley. Hell's Bells, Part 2. Modern-day Hell's Bells. BR reward, very expensive. Very good, though. Outlier fastball. He's got good breaking stuff, got a change up. He's pretty good if you can afford it. B tier, lots of guys here. Once again, they brought out the Trinan, the Kimbrel, the Dennis Santana, Hoffman, Randy Rodriguez. A bunch of really good and solid pitchers. Trinan, Kimbrel, Santana, and Hoffman are all free cards that you can try out. Not bad. Kimbrel's got an outlier knuckle curve, for Christ's sakes. I have not had a chance to try it yet, but I'm very curious. Adam Ottavino, also pretty good. I don't know why the diamond behind him is red, but well, it's standout. That must be why. You got Gossage, you got Dibble, you got Trevor Hoffman, Ursig, some guys that have been here a little bit longer. They're still very good, even though their per nines are starting to fade a little bit. they've got the repertoire, they've got the mechanics that make them so deadly. C tier, certainly usable pitchers, just guys I'd recommend a little bit more. Once again, kind of like talking about the starting pitchers, they're just missing a little bit something. Like Brian DeBrave doesn't have the ideal pitch mix. Kevin Jansen doesn't have the best per nines that you could run in modern game. But good pitcher still, D tier, probably would recommend for going away from those. There's a lot of good and free relievers that you can use, thankfully, even though the top of the top are kind of expensive. And finally, we'll wind things down with lefties. There's not much change here. It's kind of the same guys that have been here all year, plus Josh Hader, I think, or maybe Danny Coulomb, I don't think was in the last one either. I love Danny Coulomb. He's been high on my list all year, and now they put out a diamond, so he's so good. He's got the best pitch mix that you could ask for. He's just so tough. Those mechanics that make it so hard to hit off him. He tunnels so well. He's got great control. He can put everything on a dime. He's kind of the left-handed answer to Darren O'Day, just not quite as ridiculous. Aroldis Chapman is still very good. I still have great success with him. Josh Hader, this is more of a communal pick. I know a lot of people like this Josh Hader. The lefty position is just thin within bullpens. He's not, I would maybe even rather have Gregory Soto personally, but I know other opinions are different with Josh Hader. Same could be said for Andrew Miller. I hit him pretty well. I don't do a great job pitching with him, but lots of people love him. So Andrew Miller's got to rank pretty highly on my list. I try and factor in, what other people think of these cards too a little bit, as well alongside my own thoughts. B tier, we got Hobie Milder, the hobo. Still love him every now and then. He's getting a little bit more hittable for some people as they get used to his funky mechanics, but he's a lot of fun to use. John Franco, Mark Davis, Matt Strom, Tanner Scott. These guys have been out pretty much all year. And then C tier, the same could be said. That is all she wrote. An hour plus, I believe, we'll see after the editing down, but close to an hour of yapping about pixels, virtual baseball cards. Wow, is that sad? Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, though. Tier list number 3, going over basically every diamond that there is within Diamond Dynasty. Lots of new cards that came out this time around. Lots of really good ones, positional upsets, which we're getting up there in power creep. It only makes sense. And it's only going to get crazier because we got a new Legend and Flashback collection dropping on next Friday. We've got another 30-plus card series collection, plus program, plus pack. Mumbo Jumbo, that is also coming out. So, yeah, we're going to have a loaded tier list for the next time around as well. Once again, let me know in the comment section, what was I wrong about? Who are some cards that should have been ranked way higher? Please tell me in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this one. I'll catch you on the next time.